Hey, Serve listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, let's watch. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. As I always say, everything that I produce on the internet might contain triggering material because of the nature of psychological topics. So watch with care. Let's watch.
I was planning on getting it cleaned up before showing it to you.
I don't really know if I appreciate the thought. Because that's why I asked, like, if this dress important to your family, like something that it was passed from your great-grandma to your grandma, and then...
Okay, I understand both sides, and it's all about how you communicate to each other rather than being right or wrong. He is concerned about how much money they're spending on the wedding. He's concerned about how much money they have to spend on the wedding. I don't think it's a matter of budget. I think it's a matter of ability, limits to what they can spend on. And I haven't been showing all the clips, but for Evelin, she appears to want a very expensive wedding, which is fine. She wants that. What always boggles me about the couples on the show is that it's often the man who is considered to be the gatekeeper of the money, either because he's the one who earns the money, but that's not the case for the two of them. They both own the bar there. Or it's just the male's role, or the man is more stingy, I guess. But at any rate, it's often as this tension between the woman. I'm trying to think of a couple where it was reversed gender-wise, wants to spend a lot, Larissa and the couch, and was it Larissa and the apartment as well? Well, I guess no, it was reversed with Asuelu and Kalani. Asuelu wanted the big place, and Kalani was like, I don't think we're going to afford it. So I take back what I said. Anyway, there's this tension, and what always boggles me is how come the two people don't just sit down together and say, here's how much money we have. What are we going to do? We have this amount of money. What are we going to spend it on as a family, as a couple, we're equal. And I think some of the times why this isn't happening is because the man or the person earning the money is in this role of, I'm not going to reveal how much, maybe there's this overall pattern where the person who has the money doesn't talk with the other person about money, doesn't want to talk with that person about money, wants to retain the power, and or the two of them prefer this division of labor or something. So I think that's one reason. I think sometimes it's a sexist act, and sometimes maybe it's just a traditional role act, or just the roles of Kalani definitely has more of a parental responsible role over Asuelu, although that seems to be changing, which is good and bodes well for the two of them. But yeah, I'm always boggled, and especially for the people in Corey's position, I don't understand why Corey just doesn't say, okay, honey, here's the situation. We have X amount of dollars, as you know, because we both own the bar and we both pay rent here, and there's no other income stream. So here's how much money we have, and what do we want to spend total on the wedding overall? And the dress is a part of that. Now, maybe for Evelin, she's like, I want to spend half of our current savings on my dress because that's important to me. Now, maybe for Corey, he's like, I don't want to do that. Can we, and then you have conversations about that. And, you sort of give and take and understand what, maybe for Evelin, it's just like, no, I just have to have the most beautiful dress. We can budget on the venue, but, whatever the conversation. But the way that this show presents it, it's like one person, it's like some kind of haggling that you're doing on a used car lot, where he's trying to undershoot by throwing this used prom dress of his sister's, which I have to say is fine. I mean, there are a lot of people that do stuff like this where it's like, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a dress I wear once. How about I just find a good enough dress and spend $200, or even just have a hand-me-down, and I can have a great time. Yeah, it's not the most extravagant dress, doesn't look expensive, but it's fine. And that's just how there's different values, and people are entitled to their values. So for him, he's like, how about you just wear this dress? And she could have said, okay, but it's not her value, and that's fine. She's like, yeah, I don't. And instead of saying that, so saying, look, I appreciate you trying to save money for us. I appreciate, Corey, you trying to budget for our life because we're not rolling in money. But I don't really want to wear this dress for the following reasons. I don't want a hand-me-down. I want a special dress, a new dress. I want a different kind of a dress. But thanks for the offer. I just don't understand why they can't have that kind of conversation.
To your mom, but this is just your sister's prom dress.
Yes.
And it's embarrassing to have my sister's presence this thing that Corey did. It's like, oh, look at my super cheap future husband right here bringing me his sister's old dress for me to wear it.
It's also fine that for Evelin, apparently, as a lot of people do, the amount of money that you spend on things associated with the wedding is a direct indication of how much you love someone, which I have to say is the biggest accomplishment of marketers and capitalists, is to somehow attach a dollar figure to love and connection and dedication. I don't think anyone questions that Corey and his love for Evelin. I think it's pretty clear from the beginning that Corey is into Evelin. So the fact that she needs some other indication is, I don't know, it's fine. People have different values, but again, I just wish that she could be like, well, honey, I appreciate the offer, but no, thank you. Thank you, but no. Go back in the other room. You don't know anything about dresses. Just something like that.
Me parece un descaro sacar un vestido así y decir, úsalo en tu boda.
Yeah.
No tiene sentido.
Sucio.
Sucio, asqueroso.
Yeah. Un insulto.
An insult?
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to insult anybody. I'm just trying to save money on costs.
Right. It's fine so it's one thing if you take it as an insult. It's another thing if you assume the other person is trying to insult you. So for Evelin and the sisters, they could be like, it's kind of insulting. I don't think he means it that way, but it is kind of insulting. That's okay. Maybe Corey is just oblivious. I don't think Corey's trying to insult. I just don't understand this lack of flexibility and understanding. It's like, and the other thing is, and I don't know about Ecuador, but in the United States, in my lifetime, weddings have skyrocketed in price as a result of people thinking that their marriage or themselves are worth it. Imagine if we thought about this in all walks of life. Like, you're going on a vacation, and it's your one time a year vacation. And you think of this vacation as the amount of money that you spend on it and the amount of money that it looks like you spent on it as some sort of indication of your self-worth. And you don't buy a single thing. You live off top ramen the entire year, and then you go on this big extravagant vacation. Most people would be like, that's stupid. That lacks balance. Certainly you deserve it to have a vacation that you want, but there's other things to spend money on that you need to budget for. But for some reason, when it comes to weddings, people just go completely overboard. And then after the wedding, some people are in debt. Some people have to take out loans, particularly credit cards, and they pay that off for 50. Now, it's a personal choice, but I just have to wonder about some, Mad Men type meeting that occurred in the 60s, or I'm guessing in the 80s is when it really started to take off, that they were like, ha, 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 we know what to do. We are going to pump this idea and brainwash the populace into believing, like the most egregious is when you're buying the ring for the proposal, the engagement ring, it's supposed to be 2 months. Actually, it's probably more than that now, because it's probably some sort of creepage, meaning that it changes over time, to maybe 3 months. Anyway, point is like 2 or 3 months of your monthly salary gross is how much you're supposed to spend on a ring. What? Like a sixth of your yearly income on a ring? I mean, if you do that, and if that's what you want to do, then yeah, go for it. But really? So it's stuff like that where And, don't even get me started on the diamond business and that whole thing and the way that they will essentially manufacture the cost of these gems by limiting the supply and the slave labor that goes into extracting them from the earth. I mean, this whole industry has so many problems with it that, when people get married, I just wish they would look at it a little bit. And I know some people do. Some people will be like, we're going to have a low carbon footprint wedding. We're going to just have a little thing. We're going to elope because we want to avoid that whole thing. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. And Evelin is entitled to having her wishes. Totally. She can say, I want an expensive wedding. I want a brand new dress. I want all those things. Fine. The two of you and Corey, sit down, look at the budget, see how much you can afford.
Es algo barato, pero feo.
It's cheap, but it's ugly, is this?
Yeah. Esto es una vergüenza.
Really?
Yeah. 100% Corey is trying to get out to pay for a nice dress because he knows my dress is not going to be cheap.
Right, 100%. He literally said that. He says, I'm just trying to save money. Yes, you're not catching him on some nefarious plot. He told you, I'm trying to get you to wear my sister's dress because I'm trying to save money. And that's such a bad thing for a husband, future husband, to be careful about spending his money. Now, again, like I said, Evelin can reject it, but to just the tone from her and the sisters that somehow Corey is this horrible person, I don't think is justified.
I know some cables on Corey's brain are not connected properly, but I would definitely do not wear his sister's prom dress to my wedding. Hell no. Yo no me lo voy a probar. Esa cosa está sucia. My dream is to travel the world and have a business and give my family a good life.
All right, whenever she talks about her dreams and her goals in life, I am, listening intently because that's a big part of the story between the two of them. And she said things like this in the past, but she's saying it again now, which is that she's never thought about getting married, and it feels kind of counter to her identity and her dreams as she is moving toward getting married in a wedding. Because she wants to travel the world, she wants to be successful in business, and she wants to provide for her family. I think what she means is her siblings and her parents and that kind of thing. And it's, it's totally fine. And what I've been saying from the beginning is she's absolutely entitled to that dream and that career path and that hope. But, you can just assert that. You can just be, hey, Corey, pal, I really like you. I like spending time with you, but it's not in the cards for me to get married. I don't want to be tied down. I don't want someone to be reliant on me. I have all these independent things I want to do. Now, she could say, we can get married, but you cannot get in my way of my career, of my efforts to want to help my family. So I don't think she's ever elaborated as she did in that little bit. She said a little things along those lines, but never in that clear manner, to my memory.
Solo un vestido.
I mean, I guess I would feel different wearing this wedding dress if I would feel sure that Corey was the man I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And at this moment, I don't feel that way.
Yeah, totally okay with that. Tell him, or be honest with yourself and say, I don't know if this is for me, maybe, but so let's call off the wedding. Let's give it some more time. Corey has said as much. He's like, I really want you to marry me, but if you don't want to marry me, now what he's also said is, if you don't marry me soon, we're done, because I'm tired of being in this limbo space, which he's entitled to and is fair. And for her, she doesn't know, which is also fair. I'm worried that she's agreeing to marry him. It sounds like, actually, my worries are coming true, that she's agreeing to marry him before she wants to marry him, which is, a big worry to me.
En serio. Qué puto.
Como su novia.
¿Cómo se llama?
Se llama Jenny. Habíamos terminado por ese tiempo, pero ¿cómo es que él tenía una novia?
interesting. So she did admit that they were broken up because there have been various different statements. He has asserted that throughout this, different interviews that he was with another woman in Peru, and it was because he thought his relationship with Evelin was over because Evelin had broken up with him. She has stated a number of times that they were that she just wanted some space. She asserted that she did not break up with him, that they weren't broken up, and that he cheated on her. But she just said, let's rewind that because it's critical for understanding what is fair, because if he cheated, unfair. If they were broken up and he dated anyone, that is totally fair in most people's minds. Now, I understand perhaps where Evelin is coming from. Some people will get hurt that you will date someone so soon after breaking up with you. They will think, so you're just waiting to date other people, or you didn't really love me. Those questions can be addressed. You can say, so the fact that you dated someone so soon after we broke up, did that mean that you didn't really love me? Does that mean you were always waiting to date other people and you were dissatisfied with me the whole time? You can have conversations like that. Usually it's not the case. Some people just bounce back really quick. Some people distract themselves with dating. It kind of sounded like that's what was going on for him. For Corey, it was hard for him. He's been with Evelin for years, and they had this really difficult breakup. And he met someone, and I don't think it was a girlfriend though. I think they were together for like a week or something. Anyway, but maybe they were boyfriend, girlfriend for a week. Point is that she just said something that is different from what she said in the past. Let's rewind.
Como su novia.
¿Cómo se llama?
Se llama Jenny. Habíamos terminado por ese tiempo, pero ¿cómo es que él tenía?
Yes, we were broken up at the time, but how could he have a girlfriend? She said a lot of things like this that I don't understand the logic behind, and I've noted them, and I wonder if I'm just not understanding her, or she comes from a different logic place, or it's a cultural difference or something. Let me know in the comments what you think, but she is saying, yeah, we were broken up, but how could he have a girlfriend? I don't really you were broken up. You broke up with him. He can't. He's prohibited from having a girlfriend after you break up with him.
¿Cómo ves saber quién es Jenny? Jenny se la has estado presentando como tu novia. Y me dice, no, esta chica yo que la conocí una semana. Él dice que es un error de traducción, porque en inglés novia y amiga se escribe igualito.
Okay, I didn't catch that. I think what Evelin was saying was that she believes Corey was lying to her, which I could imagine being true. And I think Corey even admitted to that. I'm not sure, but that he came back. So according to Corey, his story was she broke up with him, and she's now confirming that. He left the country because his visa ran out, and he goes to Peru. And he meets a woman there, and he's really upset about the breakup, and they date for a short amount of time. And then that relationship ended and his visa ran out. And he was going to come back to Ecuador to get his stuff and go back to the United States. And then the quarantine happened while he was in Ecuador, and Evelin and Corey were stuck together. So then you could imagine maybe Evelin is like, who is that person? And Corey at first is like, oh, it's just a friend. Because on one hand, Corey's, I don't know, thinking, well, I don't really owe Evelin anything. I don't have to tell her the truth. We were broken up. We still are broken up. I'm never going to see Evelin again. So yeah, it's just a friend. Or Corey was trying to cover up something because he knew that it would upset Evelin. And so he says it's just a friend or something along those lines. And then later on comes clean. It says, actually, I was dating someone, which is another reason why we should just all be truthful from the beginning, even if there is a consequence, because there can often be a much bigger consequence if you're caught on the lie, which we often are.
No sé, ¿qué piensan ustedes?
Yo no confío en Corey. Sí, pero yo no entiendo. ¿Cómo es eso? Que, ay, sí, te amo, te extraño, nada. Y luego va con otra peruana, te la presenta como la novia.
Right, I think that's what is the contention, is that how can he love you and then after breaking up, immediately dating someone else. I get it. I guess that is some kind of heuristic of if you truly love someone and you break up, there's a certain amount of time of mourning that you go through that you don't date other people. I understand kind of where that comes from. It doesn't pan out in reality, though. Like I said before, people react differently. Some people will start dating and they bounce back quick, or they distract themselves by dating and they tell people, look, I just got out of a relationship. I'm not looking for anything long term, but I really like you and let's hang out. And then the other person can be like, I'm not really looking for a rebound. And, everyone can just be honest about it. So this idea that Corey doesn't love her, which there has been no other evidence of, by the way. If anything, the fact that he came back to her and accepts her back after she broke up with him, I think more than once, should point to at least his motivation, I would imagine. But I don't know. I'm not there. They know him better than I do. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Corey genuinely loves, and if so, how much on a scale from 1 to 100?
Luego viene y te dice casémonos. Y tú le dices que sí, ajá.
No puedo creer que Evelyn nos diga que Corey le engaña y aún así quiera seguir con esto de la boda. O sea,
how does that story get turned into cheating? She broke up with him. He left the country. He met a woman, dated her for a short amount of time. How is that cheating? How is this story concocted into a cheating story? She literally said, yeah, I know I broke up with him and we were broken up at the time, but still, how is that cheating? By that definition, we are all currently cheating on our past relationships. We're all cheating all the time. If we have any past relationship and we're in a current relationship.
está loca.
Recontra loca. Tienes ahí las pruebas de que el man no está tan comprometido en la relación como tú piensas.
Pero si te hace eso de novia, te va a cuernear de esposa.
Did I miss something? She literally just said they were broken up at the time. And then maybe the sisters didn't hear that bit, or it was translated wrong, or am I missing something? So I was saying, if he's going to cheat on you while you are together, then why do you want to be his wife? Yeah, I guess. But they were broken up. Maybe I missed something.
La verdad de las cosas es que hace un año Corey y yo nos fuimos a Guayaquil y nos casamos.
Wait, what? So they're already married. Interesting. So 1 year ago, that was before they broke up. Interesting. So they've already, we didn't know that, right? That's a shocker. Interesting. So they're already married. Now they're just going through the motions so that they can come out as already being married. Interesting. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. If you didn't know already, we have a Reddit and an Instagram and a Facebook and a something else that I'm forgetting. So join the conversation there if you want to. If not, no big deal. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.